Hey y'all, what's up? How y'all doing? Tamika, hey Shan, baby, how everybody else up in the room? What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? This your boy Food Junkie. I do apologize about that. I was trying to get myself together with water and stuff like that. You saw the question. Is it them or is it us? I was just on Miss Pam live. She had a conversation. I guess I came into it late, and the part I came into it, they were talking about the black relationship. Well, sorry, the relationship between black people and the police force. And I wrote in the chat. A lot of people don't realize that the modern day police force is basically started from you know the slave patrols. And the slave patrols was back in the days when there was slavery. And a lot of people don't understand that, or don't realize, or understand or recognize the fact that slavery was basically initially not just black people. It was people who came over from England or whatever they come from was not, who had to pay a debt. And what they did was they were also treated badly. They were also treated horrifically. They were treated like we were treated as slaves. And their people were white, they were Asian, they were whoever was poor basically, and owed a debt to someone was basically captured into slavery. They realized that slavery was, I mean, those people that was captured into slavery was not, or they called them indentured servants. They were banding together in order for them to separate the black people from. Hey, Red Afro Baby, how you doing? In order for them to separate the black race from all other races, was not, and it was an economic situation. Either you were poor or you were rich. There was no in between back in the days of the time when everyone was having indentured service and slavery, things of that nature. They started putting poor white people in charge of black people, as far as the slave, not just I won't say slave masters. Good morning, Nora. How you doing, baby? And everyone else in the chat, y'all welcome. And so that's when it started. And when black people, because they didn't want people to come together and overthrow the people that had all the money and had all the power, and that's what it was leading to. That's what it was going on to. So once they had this third class of people, which now people call the middle class, because they're not poor, they're not the uber wealthy, they're just the middle class. They have a little bit more than, you know what I'm saying, the poor people, but they have a lot less than the uber wealthy as well. And those were the people that they started doing that with. And then when black people started revolutionizing and revolting and running away, was not, they hired these same quote unquote middle class white people, or white people was not, that was just an inch above the black people was not, to capture and police these black people. They were called slave patrols, where they were there to detain, they were there to capture, they were there to murder and regulate black bodies. That's how the modern police force happened. So when something is ingrained in that type of negative, destructive history, it's going to be hard for modern day mindsets to take place. If anyone knows anyone in the police force who have been to the police academy, what they do is they break you down to build you up, just like the Army does, just like any military force does, just like any organization does, just like even the Alpha Phi Alphas and all these sororities and fraternities was not do. They break you down to build you up to who they want you to be. And in those videos at the police academy was not, they don't show perpetrators as a rainbow of people. They show them as angry, aggressive black men. So they put that in your mindset to actually see black men or black people in general or black bodies as the instigators, as the agitators, as the destructive ones. So while people are having these conversations about how do we change it, We need to start changing by changing the way in which these officers are being trained, by how they're being. We got to start from, if you already have a mindset that black people or black is wrong and black is evil and black is this, be it whatever, and you go into this organization that perpetuates that, it's going to be hard to have officer friendly coming to the schools and handing out baseball cards. No one's collecting baseball cards right now like that. No child is doing that. So saying you remember and harken back to when it was your time to do that and you're in your 60s and 70s, it doesn't make sense in modern days. You have to be able to adjust with how to reach these people, how to reach these children that you want them to reach, how to reach these officers in training, what's not. You got to be more modern with that. You can't think that, oh, well, when I was growing up, they was walking through the neighborhood smiling and grinning and waving high. Right now, we're not having neighborhoods, because where I live, my neighborhood is not a walkable neighborhood. You can see officers drive by, what's not, and they can wave, that's fine. But to think that we're going to go back to when it was, quote unquote, the Leave It to Beaver days, where everyone had white picket fences and hoop skirts, and you know what I'm saying, the guys dress up in suits just to go pick up the mail. That's not feasible. That's not realistic. That's not how we live right now. The idea of the nuclear family has changed. The nuclear family is no longer 2.5 kids and a dog, a man and a woman. That's no longer the mindset of the nuclear family. That is no longer the mindset as to where we are. So therefore, we need to be able to adjust our mindset and the way we think to the environment in which we live. And each neighborhood, each city, each situation is not the same. While that may work in your neighborhood, that doesn't work in every neighborhood across America. It starts with understanding where's the genesis of the police force. It starts to understanding where this thing started. What was the concept? What was the mindset? Was not, and deconstruct that, I should say. We need to start by deconstructing the fact that the training that is received by the police officers nowadays is that for us to be seen as the perpetrators. You know, exactly right, Alfred. Exact numerology, baby. Exactly. So, hey, the hood table, baby. How you doing, sweetheart? The hood table. Would you want to come up here and have a conversation with me as well about this situation? Because I know you are great with these type of discussions and things like that, and I may be getting some stuff wrong. So let me know if you want to drop down or come on in. I'll definitely drop the link if you want me to. That's for anybody, actually. But it's so funny to how people just think that, you know what I'm saying, oh, well, I remember back in days when it worked for me. Not everything works for each other. That's why I said, is it them or is it us? Because just look at how we treat each other on here. This small application, this small YouTube situation was not. We don't mind threatening. We don't mind cussing each other out. We don't mind doxing each other. We don't mind showing each other our worst forms of who we are, the lowest forms of who we are. Then we expect someone who don't have anything to do with us or who don't care about us or us not to treat us better than we treat each other, to treat ourselves. It doesn't make sense to me how we as a people expect so much from others when we are giving so little to ourselves and to each other. It doesn't make sense that we are so tied to what we want people to do, but yet we're not looking at what we can do as a people. Because as I always say, people treat you only how you want them, only how you allow them to treat you. If someone calls you out your name and you answer to that, they're going to get comfortable calling you out your name and you answering to them. But when you demand respect from people, when you demand people to speak to you in a way that you want to be spoken to and how you speak to them, even in the tone of your voice, even in the words that you use, you put out the energy out there that you want to get back. Like I said, and I had a conversation about this a couple of days ago, I think it was. And we were talking about, being detained by police officers was not. And y'all know I'll always admit that I've been detained several times for whatever reasons, none of y'all business. But I've been detained several times. And every time that I have been detained, it wasn't an incident. It wasn't where I'm being thrown to the ground and a foot in my back, or because I know what I did wasn't appropriate. Me dragging someone down the street is not appropriate behavior. It warrants me to be detained until they figure out what's going on. And once they figure out what's going on, what's not, I'm released and I don't have a record. But if I'm up here screaming and yelling and cussing and fussing and fighting and resisting and granted, I'm still an asshole. I'm still gonna ask you questions. I'm still not gonna let you handle me any kind of way. But there's a way that you do that is not aggressive. There's a way that you do that. There's a way that you ask these questions and talk to these officers who come up to a situation where they don't know anything about, where you're not seen as the aggressor. Maybe it's just my personality and self. Maybe it's whatever it can be. But I'm asking questions. Why you stopped me? Why you here? And it's in that tone, and that thing was not, even if I'm upset, was not, but it's not, you motherfucking pig, I'm gonna kill your bitch ass. No, it's not all that. It doesn't take all that to get answers from someone. If you speak to people, it's not in a way that show that you have some intelligence about yourself, you have some integrity about yourself, it's not, you may have done something that may cost them to be there, but at the same time, you have to be able to conduct yourself in a way that you put yourself in a position of that if something doesn't go right, short of me being murdered, you know what I'm saying? There are ways that you know that I'm going to be able to defend myself. And like I said, I would defend myself against anyone, be it physically or be it me having going through the laws that I know to make sure that you understand that you can't treat me this way. You can't speak to me this way. You're not going to tell me to shut up as an officer. Who are you talking to? I'm a grown-ass man. You're not going to tell me to shut up. You can ask me to be quiet. You can ask me to wait a moment, but you're not going to tell me to shut up. And that's how you got to handle these situations. Now, there's a way to talk to these people once not, and talk to people who you know automatically come in with a bias, who automatically come in with, you know what I'm saying, some type of prejudice against you, be it your skin color, be it your weight, your height, be it whatever. I told you I'm 6'3". And I know that just my mere presence, people feel threatened by that. The fact that I can articulate myself well, people are threatened by that. Like I said, me being a black man here in America is not, I still have privilege. I still understand my privileges. I still understand what it is that I have that works for me. I made a video a while ago where I said, understanding your privileges. Granted, we may be treated horrifically and may have been treated horrifically in this country. But being a black person, we still have privilege. We still are the foundation, the genesis of creation. Hey, Marie, baby, how you doing? And I understand that, Marie. That's true. But not every time, like I said, I haven't experienced that. So I don't know anything about that. And I've been detained several times. I've never been pepper sprayed. I've never been snatched up. I've never been thrown to the ground. I never experienced that. So I don't truly understand that. But I understand that it happens. I'm not dim or blind to the fact that it happens more often than it should. All I'm saying is that my personal experience have not been of that. And I'm saying I'm not nice. I'm not nice to him. I'm not, oh, yes, what you want me to do for you, sir? No, I'm not that. I'm very direct. I'm very straightforward. Sometimes curt. But it's not a way where I'm doing it where I'm being aggressive with it. You stopped me. I need to know why you stopped me. No, what's your name? What's your badge number? Okay, I got it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Short of being murdered, I let you know that when I leave here, I'm going to make sure that I do my due diligence to make sure that they understand what happened while we was here. And I think that that's what people don't understand. That you think that being aggressive is always the key. Being loud is always the key. Being rude is always the key. No, you can be very direct with these people, of anyone of authority, and let them know I'm not here to play with you. I'm saying you're doing your job. At the same time, there's a way to do your job that's not going to infringe upon my rights as a human being. It's about the questions you ask. Very much so, numerology. I love that comment. I love that statement. You know, and these preconceived notions. That thing is, we come into a situation also with preconceived notions. If that makes sense, it's not me playing devil's advocate or me taking up for anyone. Well, it's not. It's me stating facts. If we walk into a situation with this preconceived notion, our actions involuntarily is going to react and respond that way. If we go into a situation like knowing that the police force started with slave patrols is one thing, but me thinking that every police officer that I run into and that I encounter is a racist or a prejudiced person, well, it's not, and who's out there to hurt me, my reactions is going to display that involuntarily. But me understanding that, saying I have rights, this is what this is about, was not, I'm a human being, I'm going to ask some questions, I'm going to be respectful as much as possible, was not, and if something goes wrong, or I hear something that is not correct for me, I'm going to question it at that point in a respectful way. Like I said, you're not going to tell me to shut up, and I'm a grown-ass man, and you a grown-ass man, or woman, or whoever you are. You can ask me to be quiet. You can ask me to wait. And I can respond positively to that. But you're not going to tell me to shut up. That's not going to work. You're not going to cuss at me because I'm not cussing at you. You're not going to raise your voice to me because I'm not raising my voice to you. I may be very direct and you don't like the fact that I'm being direct. That's one thing. Y'all know that when you feel, if you don't feel uncomfortable, you can always ask them to call their sergeant over to the scene, right? And regardless if the sergeant don't like you because maybe it's not, that shows that you understand protocols. It shows them that you understand that this is not going to be the last time you see me if something doesn't go right, unless something goes terribly wrong. You know what I'm saying? There's a ways to deal with certain things to get what you need to have accomplished. And also, what kind of the modern day prison system? Somebody was talking about the modern day prison system was not, and how that is the current prison system is a form of modern day slavery. And my thing is, it is because you get free or cheap labor. They took us from the fields to the prison systems, all with what? Slave patrols. Because if you chose to say I'm a human being, I'm not going to be your free worker bitch, basically. They locked you up, and you was a free worker bitch regardless. Anyway, making pennies on a dollar of making materials. Do you not realize that a lot of not only license plates but mailboxes, a lot of government agencies use prison systems for free or cheap labor, from mailboxes to all kind of stuff, field work and things of that nature. Hey Tracy, baby, how you doing, sweetheart? We need to be. 1 second, hold on, y'all. Hello? Hello? Girl, I can hear you. We need to be more vigilant about what we're doing and what we're saying and what we actually know. Called. Mm-hmm. Hey, Alfie from Muffy, baby. How you doing, sweetheart? I gotta check out this song, Samika. Give me 1 second. I'm not gonna check it out right now, but I'll have to check it out when I get off of here. I'm not laughing. Baby, this is funny, baby. That's funny. That's funny, baby. I mean, I know it's serious. Or was serious at the time. But why you eat church chicken while you're driving? Why you eat church chicken while you're driving? Why you eat church chicken while you're driving? We shouldn't be eating and driving anyway. But that's funny to me. Now, it probably was serious and scary. He probably meant it as a serious thing. But, you know, when I do stuff that I know I shouldn't be doing, well, it's not, I can't, you know what I'm saying, fault someone for telling me that is wrong. You know, so I got pulled over by the police. They said I was driving crazy, but I was eating church's chicken. But luckily, my uncle pulled me over. Hey, you baby, how you doing, sweetheart? You do it often, Teresa? I mean, nothing's wrong with it, but I was saying if they say you was driving crazy, maybe because you were trying to get the last piece of that little chicken off that bone. And there's nothing wrong with that. Well, I don't eat and drive. Well, it's not often, but I mean, also y'all see me drinking and driving when I drink my water and stuff on my way to work. And I know that, you know what I'm saying, I try to be careful was not and only do it when I'm like at a stop or when I can clearly see what's going on. I know, baby. I'm like, why is she working and trying to do this serious ass panel? hmm But yeah, like I said, I mean, Miss Pam, what I guess the lady that you asked, don't talk about the slavery aspect of it. What she was trying to say, I'm assuming, is that the current prison system is modern day slavery because you get cheap labor for pennies on the dollar. I think that what she was trying to say. That's what she was going, but she was taking so long to get to the point. You know what I'm saying? And I wrote that in your chat. Like one of the last comments in your chat was not that the current prison system is is modern day slavery, and like I said, they took us from the field to the prison systems due to slave patrols. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all know that it was illegal for black people to be free. It was illegal for us to do all those things. You know what I'm saying? I know. Yeah, exactly. Governmental slavery. Hey, Miss Queenie, baby, how you doing, sweetheart? So we have to be very careful and very vigilant about what we do and how we have the conversations with that. Because I mean, like I said, the title says it all for me. You know what I'm saying? Is it them or is it us? We can't expect people to treat us and behave a certain way when we ourselves behave a certain way towards each other. We're comfortable about using that N word. We're comfortable about using these derogatory terms towards each other, what's not. And then we think that, it's horrible for someone else to do the same thing. Like I told you a story about my nephew. He's Cambodian and black. His father's Cambodian, my sister's black, of course. You know what I'm saying? And he looks, you know what I'm saying? You can tell he has black in him, was not. But he looks more Samoan to me than anything. But he was using the N word, just flipping and using it around me. And I just asked him, why use that word? He's like, well, me and my friends use it all the time. Was not. I'm like, well, is all your friends black? He was like, no. I'm like, okay, what if a white person called you that N word that you didn't know? How would you feel? Now he's 27 now, I think it is. He was like, well, I'll be upset, I'll be offended. I say, so like, well, if you will be offended if someone that you don't know use that word, why do you think it's so comfortable for you to use that word and you and your friends to use that word with each other? And he apologized was, and I'm like, no need to apologize. I want you to be enlightened about what you're doing, because if you're not careful, you teach people and train people how they should treat you, how you want them to be, how you want to be treated by them. You need to be very mindful that, hey, Deanna, baby, how you doing? You need to be very mindful that you can't walk around thinking that it's okay for you to do something when it's not, and no one else has the right to do it. If you're comfortable with the word period, you should be comfortable regardless who uses it. If you say it's a term of endearment, it doesn't matter who uses it and what vein they use it in was not. My thing is, like, people here, like Miss Deanna knows I don't like the word, and when we talk, whatever, she can use the word all day long. I'm not policing her verbiage and how she uses the word, but she has enough respect for who I am and how I choose to carry myself, that word isn't something that easily flows from her mouth when she's talking to me. Although I know she used the word very, very much so. And when she uses the word was not, I can tell it slipped out and she wasn't trying to use that word toward me. You know what I'm saying? So it's very much so that we need to be, yes. Exactly, Tracy. And it's so It's just something that I just am not comfortable with, because I know that I can't be mad at giving you permission to use it, or use it toward me, I should say, but get mad at someone else that is not the same color as me or the same life experience as I do. Use it was not against me. To me, that's hypocrisy. That's hypocrisy to me. Yes, Miss Kenny, I seen that. Yes, I love Angela Davis. I love Angela Davis. She like she's so intelligent, so articulate, was not, but yet still so visceral in her approach of how she approached things, and that's how you can do it. Whatever, you know what I'm saying. There's a way to do it and be as knowledgeable and as intelligent and as visceral as you want to be, but yet you got to be saying something for people in order for people to listen to you, or in order for it to have a long-lasting impression on people. And it could be like that. That lecture is something that is relevant today, and that was done years ago, decades ago. That's what's meaningful. Was not all this yelling and screaming and saying what someone else is doing wrong. Looking at the situation that's in front of you, analyzing it, breaking it down, finding out what works, what doesn't work, find out how we can do better with that, and give comprehensive commentary on what's going on with it. Yeah, you do. Like the thing, I think is and that's I respect that aspect of it. I respect the fact that I never say don't do something was not. I will ask people, please don't use that word when referring to me or talking with me was not. But if you do, it's slipped out. But that's part of your vernacular, and I can't judge anyone for that. But what I can say is that these are my boundaries, and I would appreciate if you try not to cross those boundaries. And I think that that's what we don't have. We think that everyone needs to act the way we want them to act when we want them to act was not. And if not, we can cuss them out whatever, or to give us carte blanche act the fool. No. Acknowledge when people are trying to do better. Acknowledge when people are trying to restrain and refrain and catch themselves. Acknowledge that and give them kudos for that. Because the thing is, listen, I can't tell somebody how to act because I'm not always around them. So if their environment denotes or dictates that they are doing something or saying something or acting a certain way, was not, all I can do is accept them for who they are and hope that they respect my boundaries. I think that a lot of us don't have boundaries set in stone. Exactly right, Miss Queen. Right, that's happened decades ago, and it still stands true today. And I think that if we have more boundaries, was not that we let people are aware of whatever. And the thing is, if they're not aware of, if they don't acknowledge our boundaries, was not, it's our choice to either leave them alone or stick around them. And I choose to walk with people. It's not who don't choose to respect my boundaries. Like I said, I don't have to respond to everything that is said. I don't have to respond to everyone that is done, everything that is done, whatever. I need to understand what my boundaries are and stay within the parameters of that. Hey, Fifi TV, how you doing, beautiful? Drinking my water now. But yeah, we have to be very mindful of that. And so I think that a views conversation was a good conversation to have. But I think that, what I'm saying, we as a people, as a black people, does not need to understand that we are powerful. We are brilliant. We are the moral compass of this world, believe it or not, even with all the nonsense that goes on that we do. We are probably some of the most conservative people, some of the most forgiving people, and some of the most enlightened people if we choose to tap into that. But when we choose to constantly tap into our lowest form of ourselves, we get what we get. We get, and it may not be always what we want it to be. And and that's why I can truly acknowledge that what someone else does affect me. Because like I said, I'm 6'3", I'm over 200 pounds, was not. So when you think of a big black man, I fit that. But then when you see me, just based on paper, I fit that with that. But when you see me, see how I react and how I approach things and how I carry myself, was not. You realize, oh, he's not that figure that I was taught to be afraid of. Now, don't get it twisted now. I can easily turn into that. But that's not who I walk around being. I'll tell you, baby, Let me put that on here. You know darn well that's true. You don't say nothing but a word. But the thing is, they don't respect boundaries because they don't have boundaries themselves. You know what I'm saying? They live out here wilding out, thinking that that's okay and thinking it's cute. And that's why I always say, well, what kind of bothers me the most about people on YouTube is that everyone wants to say, "Oh, we're just roasting and gagging, we're just having fun." Your type of fun is not my type of fun. I don't think roasting and gagging is fun. I think that defending yourself is appropriate at times, but if you're just out here roasting and gagging, just be roasting and gagging was not. That's not fun for me. I don't get off. I'm not so insecure in who I am that I need to put someone else down in order for me to feel better about myself. And to me, that's what I see it as. When you're out here just roasting and gagging and just doing whatever, as far as quote unquote, this is entertainment. No, my form of entertainment may be cutting you up and slicing you up. I may be a psychopath, but I know that I may be a psychopath without me cutting you up is not going to be fun for you. It may be fun for me watching your gut spill out and watching blood run from your head, but that's not the normal way of having fun. Just like talking shit about someone that you don't know constantly isn't my way of having fun. I don't have fun that way. I find other ways to have fun. I find other ways to entertain myself. I find other ways that doesn't involve anyone else or diminishing someone else's character or talking shit about somebody else as a way of having fun. That's not fun for me. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm saying. Y'all know that's what I'm talking about. It's not my, like when people say, "Oh, well, we're just having fun. We're just roasting and gagging." Well, that's not my way of having fun. I don't think being talked about is fun for me. Me talking about somebody it's not fun. Me putting someone else down is not fun because the thing is, if I'm not lifting you up and being my best self, what's the point? If I'm not being the example that I want you to be or showing you how I want to be treated, then what's the point? We do die of lack of knowledge. I feel for my baby. We definitely die of lack of knowledge. And you know what they say is that if you want to get something past a black person, was not put it in a book, they ain't gonna read it anyway. You know, lack of home training. Very much so. It is stupid. No etiquette whatsoever. You're absolutely right about that. You're absolutely right about that. And my thing is, I just don't get it. And then we expect to go out there into the world. Like I always say, this is right here is a microcosm of what we experience in the world. This little YouTube thing, this little social experiment, you know what I'm saying? Because basically that's what it is a microcosm of what the world is about. And when you don't and can acknowledge that, you can't see that, you can't conduct yourself appropriately, you're going to get that. You're going to get the nonsense. You're going to get the BS. You're going to get the little fractions and groups of us not who thinking that one person is right or one person is wrong. This whole group mentality type of thing, this whole cult mentality type of thing. Well, it's not. And it's not, you know what I'm saying, uneven for what these officers of the law have been trained to do. When you're looking at videos where every scenario is with the quote unquote angry black man or quote unquote angry black woman, or every domestic violence is a black case, well, it's not. Nobody knowing damn well we're only 13% of the population. So we can't be all of that. It can't be all of us all the time. But when that's what you're trained constantly to do, is not constantly to look out for. If someone raises their voice, they're angry and they're aggressive. So therefore, you have to defend yourself, and you're already a timid individual anyway. A lot of officers, I know people that I went to school with, who were nerds and punks in school, who joined the police force or the military to gain that confidence and gain that camaraderie. Was not. So if you're already a punk, and you have someone like me who's gonna, if I chose to raise my voice at you, was not, or approach the subject, you know what I'm saying, aggressively, whatever, and you're already a punk and you're already timid and you have every weapon and the law on your side to murder me because you can't handle a strong individual who's not in the same race category as you're in, the same body build as you're in, the same intelligence level as you're in. You feel intimidated by that. So in order for you to show your power was now, or show your influence, what do? opposed to de-escalating the situation was not you want to prove a point. Because you gotta understand, these officers of the law are still human. They're just as human as I am. A little bit more training than I have, or they should have a little bit more training than I have. Was not, and the psychological test doesn't, pick out everything. If you've been a psychopath your entire life, you can always pass the psychological test. Roger, if you don't get out of here with this common sense, exactly. Have you ever been mad at a dog for unnecessarily barking only to realize that it's the only way that they know how to communicate? Exactly. And see, that's what I'm saying. Once you recognize certain things, once you recognize certain traits and attributes of certain people, well, it's not in certain communities, whatever, you start to understand. And you modify your behavior while still being yourself. You modify your way of thinking. You modify your way of reacting, because you have to do that to make sure that you stay safe. You stay who you need to be, and that's not necessarily, what I'm saying. Because the thing is, and this is gonna sound bad, you guys, and I don't mean it to sound bad. I don't mean it to sound bad. But do we know what initiated the situation with George Floyd? Because I don't remember hearing about what initiated the situation. I know people say it doesn't matter because what he did was erroneous and crazy. You're right about that. But if we don't put ourselves, hey Carrie, baby, how you doing, sweetheart? Okay, appreciate it. If we don't put ourselves in, okay, what initiated the situation for had the police come there to begin with? And all the situations was not. Was it a traffic stop? Was it this? Was it that? Was it that? Was you selling Lucy's? Well, whatever, I'm saying. Are you allowed to sell Lucy's or is not? Granted, you escalated to the point where it was crazy where people died, which is stupid just for selling Lucy's. But there's always an initial cause to why people are talked to by the police. The $20 that was allegedly fake. Okay, yeah. So right. So do we know if it was fake or not of you? Do we know if it was real or if it was fake? Do we know? Because I also heard that it was something about a check as well, like a check that like a bounce check or something. I'm not quite sure. I know that the actions didn't call for the situation, but there is an initial reaction or initial response or call to the situation. We don't know. Right. So it was that, like, thing is, was it a fake check? Was it a counterfeit bill? And why are you calling police for a counterfeit bill? Just refuse to accept it. Just refuse to accept it. Get out my store. You know what I'm saying? And if they did refuse to accept it, was not and say get out my store, that did he get loud and boisterous? Well, you know what I'm saying? Because we see it all the time. Like, I see it at the store all the time. I see how things can go wrong all the time. The other day, I went to the store when I got gas. Went to the store to get me a little 79-cent 32-ounce little something to drink. The lady is yelling at the cashier because I don't know why. All I know is you're getting loud and boisterous. I don't understand. Either you have the money to pay for what you have, or you don't. And if someone was to call the police, well, it's not because you're being boisterous and loud and aggressive. Maybe if you would have toned yourself down, maybe someone would have behind you would have, gave you the little bit of change that you needed to pay for what you need to pay for. Thank you, Carrie. I appreciate it, baby. Have fun in the bushes. Make sure you have your bug spray on you, baby. But yeah, like, I look at stuff, and I try to be logical. I try to be a person who's have a clear view of what's in front of me, not a view of what I want it to be or how it should be or this and then third. I try to be very mindful of that. I try to be very mindful and very clear as to what's in front of me, what's not how I want it to be, not how I wish it to be, not how it should be, but what's actually right there in front of me, whatever. And that keeps me very sane because I'm not looking at the woulda, coulda, shouldas. This happened. Okay, let's find out why did this happen. Okay, this and the third. But also keeping in my mind that I know that the system's not for me. The system is not for me. The system is not designed with my best interest at heart. That's like me playing football, knowing that it's a dangerous sport, but choosing to go out there with no pads on, choosing to go out there with no helmet on, choosing to go out there without the protective gear that I need in order for me to protect myself to the fullest. Playing any sports. I'm playing baseball now, but I don't wear when I'm up to bat. I don't wear the helmet with the thing to cover my ears. I don't wear a cup. You know what I'm saying? We have to be able to protect ourselves and not look for someone else to protect us. I'm not looking for someone to take a hit from me in football. I'm not looking for someone to stand in front of me when a baseball is thrown at me. I'm not looking for someone to do something for me that I can do for myself. And I think that a lot of us, in general, want someone to come save us. We want to be protected, but yet we don't put forth the effort to protect ourselves. And then when we're not protected, whatever, when something does happen, we want to protest. We want to sell fish dinners. We want to, riot. That's why when the whole thing was going on, I was asking, why are we rioting? What does that get? All you're doing is showing. Protest is fine. Protest and speak up and speak out and be loud and be boisterous, all those stuff, that's fine when injustice is being there. But taking some Jordans, taking a TV out of a building that had nothing to do with this situation, how does it help? And you put yourself in more danger. And you perpetuate the negative stereotype that they see of us. Granted, we know that a bunch of white people were the ones who initiated these riots. We also know that a bunch of police officers themselves and a lot of other people that was putting bricks in certain places where these persons were going to be, well, it's not. All of a sudden you turn around, there's bricks there. But it's up to you to fall for that and pick up that brick and throw it. It's up to you to be mindful. Okay, oh, well, I'm mad, I'm angry, well, it's not. So the only angry thing I want to do is have violence. Well, human nature, a police officer, they're scared. They're angry. And for whatever reason, they have the means to hurt people. So what are they going to do? If you think it's okay for you to be angry and do that, why wouldn't you think it's okay for them to do the same thing? We're both wrong. I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't be causing damage and causing destruction. They shouldn't be shooting people. Two wrongs don't make a right. I think that we need to be very mindful of what we do and how we do it and what we say and how we say it. Even this discussion I'm having right now with you guys, I have to be very mindful about, how people are going to interpret it based on their own personal experience and their own life experience. So it's not, I'm just giving you experience from my aspect, from my standpoint. I can't sit up here and tell you that my way is the correct way in every scenario, in every situation. Knock on wood, as of yet, I have not been accosted in a way that I deem aggressive by police officers. I had some police officers try to tell me to shut up before, and I'm like, well, who? No, that's not your job. Your job isn't to police my vocabulary. Your job isn't to police how I speak. Now you can ask me to be quiet and wait until you finish doing and saying what you're doing and saying, but to tell me to shut up, that ain't gonna happen. What's your badge number? What's your name again? Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Because you're not going to tell me to shut up. That's not what you tell me. I'm not being aggressive to you, so don't be aggressive toward me. If you can't handle the situation, was not, call your sergeant over here. Not a backup person, was not. I need your sergeant. The sergeant on duty right now. I need him over here. It's just how you conduct yourself. Still got what I need to get done. Still, they said need to get what they get done, what's not, and we'll work out in court. And as I say, I don't have a record. Even when I have been detained for fighting and busting a bitch up, You know, I protect myself by all means necessary. And the fact that I know lawyers and have lawyers on retainer list, that doesn't hurt either. I truly understand the fact of the right to remain silent. That's why the other day I was able to recite the Miranda, not because I know it. I've heard it a couple times, and I know it. I have the right to remain silent. Anything I say can and will be used against me in a court of law. I'm entitled to an attorney. If I can afford one will be provided. To understand these rights and these things as they've been spoken to me. I do. Thank you. Appreciate it. Do you mind if I call my lawyer right quick, please? Do you mind if I call my lawyer right now? And no, you don't have the right to record my phone calls. You don't have the right to record this conversation. You don't have that right now. I don't give you permission to do that. I'm just saying, like knowing what it is that we are entitled to do as human beings, be it black, white, or whatever case may be, you have to know what you're entitled, what you are, what is yours, where's your stand, what's your boundaries. You know, you can police this area, but you can't police my body. You can release my voice. Understanding that, being able to articulate that, being able to talk to them on a level that, you know what I'm saying, they know that you know what you're talking about. Y'all seen those videos out there where police officers stopped this black lady was not, and they didn't know that she was a lawyer, and she read they as the rights. Same thing they did to this white man. This white man was stopped, whatever, and he was a lawyer. And they tried to, you know what I'm saying, tell him what he can and can't do us. Now he's like, well, the law based on code XYZ, da da da. You know, I'm a lawyer. Here's my card, type of thing. People don't understand. Like, you have to understand who you are and be able to articulate that in a way that is non-aggressive and non-defensive. And like I said, even when sometimes when you do the right thing and you are nice and cool and calm and collected, that things don't work out, you know, the way you want them to. But you be able to handle that in a way that is still somewhat, you're saying, controlled. You can't go off on the deep end and start assuming things. But once again, like I said, when we as a people don't treat each other with the respect and dignity that we want someone else who's not for us to treat us, whatever. That's like us asking the slave owners, the slave masters, was that to give us rights. Why would they do that? It doesn't benefit them. Why would they treat us in a way where that doesn't benefit them? That goes for anybody. Like Nurati said about the whole dog thing. When the dog is barking, was that knowing that's the only way that they communicate. They're hungry, they're hurt, they're sad, whatever it may be. So anytime that you're not trying to figure out the reason behind it, you're doing yourself injustice. So is it really them or is it us? You know, we want them to walk through the neighborhood smiling and grinning and handing out baseball cards, but we out here selling drugs and calling each other out each other's name, fighting in the middle of the street, not being able to articulate ourselves. And I understand it's trauma. We are all still representative of the trauma that we've experienced or that our culture and our race have experienced for hundreds of years. It's encoded in our DNA. That trauma of slavery, that trauma of being constantly held down, held back, talked about, is something that is being transmitted in our DNA code. And it's hard to break that if you're not recognizing it, if you don't understand it, if you're not trying to do the work yourself to get out of that place of hurt, that place of damage, that place of not feeling good enough, not being enough. It's hard. But once you recognize what it is, you can fix that wound. You can fix that problem, or you can tend to that problem. I won't say fix it because we can't fix it ourselves. It has to be something as a collective, as a culture, as a human race that we want to have fixed. If we're not even ready to have that conversation or that type of conversation with us, not with ourselves or each other within our race, how can we try to expound that conversation outside of our race? How can we expound that conversation with people who may not necessarily understand it because they will never understand it because they've never been through it. They don't have the same trauma as we have. Now they have trauma of their own, but not the same trauma that we have. People wonder why we are the only people that can go somewhere else not and not thrive. But they don't understand we are thriving. We're not thriving financially the way y'all may want us to, the way it looks like in y'all minds. But think about it. We are the ones who been through the most, had the most taken from us, and we're still thriving. We're not all living a lap of luxury. No one in any race is. But ask yourself, is it because we choose not to, or because someone's holding us back? Maybe a little bit of both. It may be a little bit of both. Because I don't see, you know what I'm saying? Let's take this what's on here. I don't see every black person on here getting along with each other, being respectful of each other. I see a bunch of crabs in a barrel. I see a bunch of people fighting and scraping for crumbs when there's a whole cake on the table. You're on the ground scratching and fighting for crumbs when there's a whole full beautiful cake on the table. But you don't see that because you're so worried about the crumbs on the ground. You're so worried about the small things, the minute things, the things that makes no sense. Oh, they watching my pockets. Oh, they watching this. Oh, I got more numbers than them. Oh, I do this, I do that. No one cares. Because based on how y'all live, y'all still live in the squalor. You still have the mindset of someone who don't know who you are. You still have no boundaries about what you won't do, what you won't cross. You can say all this all you want to us, not publicly. But what are you doing behind the scenes? What have you done behind the scenes? You can throw God in there if you want to us not, but God sees you and allows me to see you for who you are. Exactly. Exactly. Everyone wants to be real. Oh, I'm just being real. I'm just having real conversation, real talk. Are you really having a conversation? How is it being? How is it moving or progressing positively forward? If you can't answer that question, I mean, and if you say that, well, I just want the people that I fuck with to move forward. Mm, that's a mindset that is kind of fucked up while we're in the situation. That's the situation that we're in because the police is moving in a mindset in which they want to move themselves forward, not the community as a whole. Black people move in a way in which they want to move themselves forward only, and not, you know, what I'm saying, the white man or the Asian man or the Middle Eastern man or the Hispanic man. What's up with me, baby? How you doing, sweetheart? You know, it doesn't make sense if everyone's looking out for self and self only. You know, no one's getting ahead because opposed to you trying to have a connection with someone that is different from you or who looks different from you or think differently from you, you're so busy worried about, you know what I'm saying, how you're going to force your way of thinking onto the masses. Not realizing that not everyone thinks like you, not everyone's going to think like you, not everyone's going to behave like you. And what your version of realness is may not be their version of realness. You being rude and obnoxious may be real for you, or maybe your aspect of what you think real is. But the reality is, not everyone think that being rude and obnoxious is being real. Some people see it for what it is, being rude and obnoxious. You know, we need to definitely be mindful of our environment and our surroundings and how we present ourselves to the masses. I know we all say we don't care how people think of us with that, but yet in reality is we need to start caring because no one's an island. What's up, RNY baby TV? How you doing, sweetheart? So we're not talking about no vegetarian foe right now. We're talking about race relationships. I mean, I think that's what it's meant to do. I mean, like I want. I mean, sorry, you guys. I want us to be able to reflect upon ourselves before we start having our conversations. Have an inner conversation first with ourselves. Be able to analyze our behaviors, our environments, and see what is right, what is wrong, and then be able to, saying, articulate that to the masses. And it's not about being preachy. It's not about saying being right or being wrong. It's about saying being honest about what we've experienced and what we're going through as an individual, and then therefore we can see how that can relate to someone else. I think that we are so caught up in the minutia that we forget that not everyone is experiencing the same thing that we're experiencing, good, bad, or indifferent. Not everyone thinks the way we think, good, bad, or indifferent. Not everyone sees things the way we see things, good, bad, and or different. And I think that we forget that because we become so bogged down with what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're doing it, that we don't see that everything is different. Everyone is different. Exactly, Leah. The big picture, baby. And realize that we're just a small speck in it. And if we're here, if we're not here, well, it's not. What is the legacy that we left behind? That's going to change the world for the better. That's going to change the environment for the better. That's going to change our household, our neighborhood, our city, our state, our country for the better. How is it that we're going to make ourselves be something that is a lasting legacy for good? And thinking that roasting and gagging is going to be it, okay, I guess. You're thinking small, baby. You're thinking small. You get the roasting gag for the moment while you're living in squalor. How does that help you? You have enough money to buy crab legs this month. Woohoo. You have enough money to eat crab cakes this month. Woohoo. What about next month? You got to do the same thing to eat the same thing? You have to do the same thing next month and the month after that was not to live how you're living this month. Bad behaviors get rewarded. Don't come here preaching, baby. Don't come here preaching. And what a boring world it would be if everyone thinks like us. If everyone thought like me, how can I stand out and be original? If everyone looked like me, how can I stand out and be original? If everyone have the same mindset that I have, how can I stand out and be original? If everyone thought this way. If everyone looked the way I look, everyone handled themselves the way I handle myself. I personally think that it would be a good world, personally, but I know that's not realistic. It's not realistic for me to expect everyone to behave and think and move the way I move, behave and think. And I have to be okay with that. I have to be okay with understanding that, my opinion may be slightly off than everyone else's opinion on this particular subject, or the way I think it may be slightly skewed one way or the other, and be okay with that. Don't let Brenda get away, baby. Yes, exactly. Right. Every race has good and bad things to learn from each other. Exactly. And when you're looking at people as that's my enemy, opposed to that's my fellow human being, you become distrusting, you become, hard-hearted, you become this individual that doesn't, recognize self, recognize the good, recognize what it is that's going on. Miss Queenie, baby, you know that's how they do around here. They get a bushel of crab legs and think that they're doing it. Thinking that they're doing better than everybody else. Do that right. Because crab legs is cute, but you be hungry in the next 20 minutes. You be hungry in the next 20 minutes. But yeah, it's just, I mean, I just find it, I don't know, I just think that, some of the conversations need to, first of all, not be held in vacuums. And what I mean by that, I'm holding a conversation in a vacuum is that when you are only talking to like-minded people all the time and listening to their opinions all the time, it's like you have this sense of dysphoria. Hey, Rain, baby, how you doing? It's like that you're in this sense of this utopia that is not based in reality. Because not everyone's going to think the same way, and if you're afraid to speak your opinion because it's different from mine, then I'd rather you not speak to me at all. I'd rather you not even engage with me because it doesn't make sense to me. I want you to have. I want to talk to individuals. I want people to have a difference of opinion. When I'm wrong, let me know that I'm wrong. When I'm right, let me know that I'm right. And when you don't understand, ask the questions. But there's a way to do all that without being disrespectful. I'm doing good, baby. Thank you for asking. See, I was gonna make some chili the other day and freeze it. I really was, not being shady, I've been funny, but shit, I like chili. I got all kind of stuff in my freezer. Got spaghetti sauce, got soup, all kind of stuff. But yeah, we need to get out this mindset like that. Once we understand that things are not like things were not initially for us, like take this whole thing back in the days when Tommy Hilfiger, oh well, he said he didn't make clothes for us. He didn't. Do you think Michael Kors make purses for black women? That's not his demographic. Do you think that Fendi make their clothes for black people to walk around with all those Fendi prints? Was not? No, that's not that demographic. Black people in the hood is not these high-end designers demographic. But we buy it, oh sorry, y'all buy it, they buy it, because they think that it makes them look better than where they are. It gives them a certain status quo to walk around with an MK emblem on their purse. It makes them walk around with upside down F's on their complete outfit. I don't get mad at people who say that their clothes are not meant for certain people. They're not. You can't afford them. So that's why you buy them knockoffs. That's why you do all that. Like, don't be mad at these designers for telling the truth. You want to hear the truth, but yet you love chili head. We don't like you. See, it's like, I was never upset with Tommy for saying his clothes wasn't made for us, because they weren't. Tommy started off as his clothes is more preppy and like nautical almost. So why do I get mad when I don't boat? He said your clothes not made for me. Now, when he said that was not, and he got this backlash, he started doing more urban style wear, more baggy stuff, more stuff that he think that we will like. But yeah, I never got upset with that. I never understood people being upset with that. Exactly, Leah. Not wrong, just different. No, actually, he never really did say that. Actually, he never really did say that, Miss Queen. You're absolutely right about that. He never really did say that. She said, "I'm content with my Target pocketbook." But I'm saying, like, then we get mad when Michael Kors said that he's gonna stop selling in certain areas. Because he don't like it's a brand thing. He is a brand. You can't see many people who don't want to be associated with certain things. We walk around with 12-inch nails and crazy. Well, I'm just saying, like we look at the wrong things and get offended by the wrong things. I admit, my clothing line is not made for us. It isn't. When I design clothes, I don't know too many people who can afford $3,500 for a dress that I design. I don't know too many people who can afford $1,200 for some pants or for something that I design that lives in the hood. I know business women and businessmen who have wives of us now who has hired me to do certain things. When I go shopping for people, when I go shopping with people, it's not that's $2,700 for the day. How many of y'all can afford to spend just on somebody coming with you on $2,700 to $3,500 for them to spend a day with you to take you shopping to let you know what looks good on you and how to fix things that doesn't work. That's not the clothes, just that the person come with you. So yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's. I mean, I don't get offended by that. Maybe because I know I don't get offended by that when people say they don't want certain people or certain demographics in their clothes because they ruin their brand. It does. Let's just be honest about it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no offense to this individual, but I don't want 5A wearing any of my clothes. I don't. You know, you can't wear the mock neck with the mock neck Mandarin dress that I made in mint green silk. You can't wear that. You won't look good in that. And if you don't look good in it, that's not a good representation for my brand. It's just what it is. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's just honest. I don't want D. Ramsey putting on a short set that I make with all that hanging out and carrying on. It doesn't look good for my brand. It cheapens my brand. It does. I'm sorry. Let's keep it real. That's why I didn't want to. That's why I push her off to someone else to design her a dress from last year. I don't gonna be attached to that. Not rude. It just is what it is. Miss Queenie, exactly. And there's no. I mean, the thing is, actually, no. The thing is, like, when I went to Vegas a couple weeks ago, whatever, I went to the Prima Outlet Mall, where I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff there. Was not, and I seen people that was on the plane leaving with Dooney Burke huge bags, Louis Vuitton huge bags, Prada, because there's all these high end stores in the Premium Mall. I mean, it's the Premium Outlet Mall in Vegas. And they had these Louis Vuitton bags. They had the big shopping bags was not. They had the Dooney Burke shopping bags. They had the Pradas. They had all the high end bags, whatever. And I'm just looking at them, at how they dressed and carried themselves on the plane. And I'm thinking to myself, it don't matter how much Louis, Fendi, Prada, Gucci, Dooney Burke that you have or that you carry. If your entire appearance doesn't look like money, it doesn't matter how much money you have on your wrist or on your hand. I just didn't get it. These people walking around with flip flops, you know, those furry flip flops that you can get for like $10. You know what I'm saying? Dingy lint on bald pants and dingy t-shirts. But yeah, you're walking around with this Louis bag, this Louis shopping bag, this Dooney Burke shopping bag, this Prada shopping bag. Your priorities are messed up, baby. Maybe if you spend less on that Louis, Fendi, Prada, Dooney, and just make sure that you get something that makes you look presentable, you've been in a better state of mind. But we want the labels. We want the labels. Leah, stop it. Versace. Exactly. Exactly. And then people want to talk about me. See, let's look how the mindset was. I didn't show, like, y'all know, I always show, like, what when I go on vacation, go places, what's not. All I do is show food and my fashions. What I brought with me, what I bought while I was there, and food. I don't show anything else for the most part, unless I'm trolling, and I was trolling last time I was in Vegas. But other than that, I just show pictures of my food and pictures of my fashions. And I don't show it just because I'm trying to show off, but I'm just saying this is how I travel. This is what I do. So when I show pictures of my fashions, we have the black people on here who's upset and jealous, but yet always say I'm upset and jealous. Was not talking about the fact that I bought a Gap sweatshirt. One of the items that I bought, one of the main items that I bought. Look past the Jordans I bought. Look past the gas and all the other stuff that I bought, things, but wanted to try to clown on a Gap sweatshirt, knowing that that's probably one of 8 Gap sweatshirts that I bought. I just don't have a red one. I have a burgundy one, I have a blue one, I have a gray one, I have a yellow one. You know what I'm saying? I have a green one. And then try to clown about the Gap sweatshirt. And then funny thing is that the person they were trying to clown with said, "Oh, well, Gap is so expensive for me. I'll stick to Old Navy." Gap's not expensive. Banana Republic's not expensive. It's a higher quality of fabric. It's a difference between a 300 count thread count of sheets from a 600 thread count sheet to 1,000 thread count sheet. It's a different quality. All by the same company, but a different quality. You can feel a Gap t-shirt and go to a Old Navy t-shirt and feel the difference. You can feel the difference between a Banana Republic t-shirt and a Gap t-shirt. Old Navy pair of pants from a Gap pair of pants to a Old Navy pair of pants. You can feel the difference. So to try to diminish the fact that I can do what I do, I found funny to me. But yet those same people who want me to think that, okay, we need to come together as a people. I'm confused. You just had the bag? You just asked for a bag? Leah, you're the best. You just asked for a bag. Well, yeah, like, I mean, but people do that. But the fun thing is, people do that as well. They just buy the bag or go to the store and ask for a bag. You know what I'm saying? Just to walk around acting like they done did something. You know, I can't. I don't buy stuff to impress people. I buy stuff that I like, and I can go to Walmart. Or actually, a couple of T-shirts that I brought with me came from Walmart. No, did I bring those T-shirts? Probably not. I know I was going to pack them. It was this purple one, and there's like this Easter egg blue one. $4. But the point is, I don't care about what people think about my clothes. Because I had the $4 to the $40 to buy the T-shirt. No matter where it came from. I had the $12 to the $55 to buy the pants. No matter where it came from. I had the $16 to the $130 to buy the shoes that I bought. I told y'all from the very beginning, I'm the king of high-end, low-end shopping. I shop too much to try to walk around as an advertisement for someone else. I shop way too much. I buy way too much stuff for me to try to walk around with a label and a name brand on my chest, and I'm not getting paid for it. I'm paying you to represent me. Sorry, I'm paying you to represent you. Anyways, y'all, we starting to get off topic, but so yeah, I just want to let y'all know we need to do better as a people and with our conversations. We really do, because I think that we get caught up in the excitement and the minutia of being on the cusp of having a conversation with that, and we don't really think about what we're actually talking about. We don't think about how it actually has an effect on people and how it actually does things. We need to be very mindful that we all are a piece of the puzzle. We all have good ideas. We all have bad ideas. We all have ideas that work and ideas that doesn't work, and we need to be very mindful that we start thinking as a collective while still holding on to our individuality. I know that may be hard for people to grasp that concept of, but as a group, what helps the human race move forward while I keep my individuality? Am I willing to, um, articulate? Am I willing to escalate if I have to? Am I willing to de-escalate when I need to? What is the proper verbiage, the proper conversation, the proper way of doing things that is for the betterment of everybody involved? I want to thank you guys so much for being here. We're a little bit over an hour. Um, yes, I just thought that it was an interesting conversation. I think that we definitely need to be able to have a venue where we verbalize ourselves, but at the same time we got to be careful about how we do that, because it never is always one thing or the other. There's always little nuances to everything that we do and everything that we say that we need to be very mindful of and careful of. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I love you guys, of course. Y'all know that. But as you also know, it's not important that I love you guys. It's important that you love yourself, you love someone else, you respect yourself, and you definitely respect someone else. You know, the world is not all good. The world is not all bad. Depending on the day, it lies somewhere in the middle. I definitely appreciate if you guys would like this video on the way out. When you rewatch the replay, like the video as well. And please comment, let me know what your thoughts are. You know what I'm saying? I don't do the craziness. I don't do it on back and forth with people. Y'all know that. But yeah, I definitely appreciate that. I may come back on showing you guys some art and some talent and things like that. Y'all know what I'm saying? Because I'm going to make I can tell y'all right just yet. Kind of make sure first. I was gonna come in last night and show you guys my thread collection. I call it collection because I got so much goddamn thread. It makes no sense. But anyway, y'all have a great day. I'll talk to y'all a little bit later, hopefully. And until then, y'all have a great day. Love you. Bye bye.